Hello, hello, hello. We are excited to be going live tonight. It's kind of an unusual night for us to go on, but we're excited to be here. We're going to do something new tonight. Um, we'll wait for a couple more people to come on, but we have a special treat. We have Christopher Allen here for a live Q&A. So if you ever had a question that you wanted to ask Christopher, now's your chance. I hope you don't mind, Christopher. I'm just going to start a little bit with how I first got acquainted with you.
Please do, yes.
Okay, many of you may have heard this story before, but I'm just going to tell it again just because I love it. So I was at Creativation a few years back, and I was there with my sister, and I actually, I wasn't even affiliated with any particular company at that time. I had just been laid off from another company, and I was just kind of figuring out what I wanted to do next. Well, I was standing in line with my sister, and who should be in front of me? Hello, Penny. Hello, Beverly. Who should be in front of me but Mr. Christopher Allen, who did not know me from Adam. And I was way too starstruck and way too shy to say anything. So everything I was observing from behind. And I just remember, it wasn't one specific thing other than he was just simply being Christopher. He was talking to the employees of the convention center. And I was just so, I had been following him on Facebook. I knew who he was. And I just was like, so impressed by the way that he so down to earth. He was just down to earth, and he treated all of the employees of the convention center just like he would treat Jennifer McGuire. He's just real, and I just appreciated that. And I remember thinking to myself, I want to work for somebody like that, somebody who's just down to earth, who treats everybody kindly. And sure enough, here I am working with her, and I love it.
We do have a lot of fun, that's for sure.
For sure. Hello, Mackie. Hello, Kelly. And Mackie, I hope that you have been down here long enough. I just answered one of the questions that you had put out about how Christopher and I became acquainted. And that was how my first impression of him. And then I had applied to be on the design team in 2020, actually. And then
when the whole world caught on fire,
the whole world went crazy. Mm-hmm. And I have been with Brutus Monroe ever since, in one form or another. Okay, so let's get started on some of these questions. And if you have any questions, if you're watching and you have some questions, please go ahead and put them in the comments. If I don't see them right away, Darren's still standing by. And I'm so glad, Mackie. And so we will get those questions to Christopher. So we awesome. Have some to get us started that our inspiration team put out there. Hi, Donna.
Good.
Yeah. So we'll start with the first one on my list. Christopher, this is from Kate on our design team. What did you want to be before you became CEO, or did you always want to own your own company?
Oh, that's a good one. So when my aspirations when I was younger is I always wanted to be an actor. So I wanted to be an actor because I never wanted one job. I knew I would be bored if I was just in one position and had one job. And I knew that I would never be happy if I was doing the same thing all the time. So I figured if I became an actor that I could be anything I wanted, and I could constantly change my role, change my job. And I learned very quickly that acting is certainly not easy, but I mean, I guess I picked an even more difficult profession as CEO, but being a CEO has made it really simple, I guess, in my eyes, to do different things every day. And my job changes every day, and I wear different hats, and I get to do different things all the time, and I get to work with so many different people. So I guess being an actor and being a CEO, kind of are hand in hand in the respect of being able to take on different roles every single day. And I love what I do. I don't know that I would have loved being an actor and struggling and finding different roles and things like that, but I think that really, my mom always says, and still says, that when you find what you're supposed to do, you will do it with everything you have, and you'll never feel like you worked a day in your life. And that's really what Brutus Monroe is to me. So I truly believe that being the CEO of Brutus Monroe is exactly what I was supposed to do.
That is awesome.
Yep.
Thank you. I just want to pop it over to our comments and just say hi to Tina.
Yes.
And Penny says that we've seen a snippet of your acting and singing career.
Yes, I was. I did a stint in the musical Rent, and it was one of my favorite roles that I ever did. But that was the last role that I ever did.
Oh, that's cool that you were in that.
Yep.
Valencia says, you mean get to wear different shoes every day?
That is correct. I do that as well. Valencia has been here in person and has seen all of my shoes.
She's seen your collection. Oh my gosh. I
You will
can
see
imagine.
it
I've
soon.
seen it on film, but I haven't seen it in person.
Yes, you will see it very soon.
Awesome. Hi, Candy. Okay. Our next question. Oh, you know what? Let's just finish off with Kate. Kate also asked, what do you see, or what do you want to see in the future for Brutus Monroe?
Oh, wow. Well, I tell my staff this all the time, that we're right where we need to be. And, you know, when I started the company that is Brutus Monroe, I started the company very humbly. And I started the company, and many may not know this, by not paying my electric bill. I didn't pay my electric bill 1 month, and I said, you know, I'm going to use that money, which was $218.62. I will never forget that number. And I'm going to use that money, and I'm going to invest in a company. And I invested in Brutus Monroe, and it was just crazy how it grew and grew over the past several years. And right now, where we're at with Brutus Monroe is exactly where I think that we need to be. I love the releases that we have. I love, the pace that we're at. But I will say that within the respect of Brutus Monroe, you will see some additional things. There are going to be some companies that form under Brutus Monroe. Most of you know that Scoozy's launched probably about 3 months ago, and it's been doing very, very well. So we'll be opening and branching out some different things that way. But as far as Brutus Monroe goes, we're just going to keep bringing you the best products that we possibly can and continue doing what we do. I would love to be able to hire additional employees at some point, because I love being able to have great people working with me, and I love being able to help them provide for their families and their loved ones. So the more employees, the better in my mind, because they all become my family, and I love hanging out with my peers, because I don't really call them employees. I call them my peers. And that's really where I see Brutus Monroe going. And we are getting ready to take over the building next door. So we will have a lot of room for growth.
If you don't mind, I would like to tell you one thing. As an employee of Brutus Monroe, one of the things that really impresses me about the way that you do things is you recognize that everybody from the creative team to people who are, working in receiving and purchasing. I mean, all of the people that work with Brutus Monroe have something to offer and have creative ideas and can absolutely contribute. And you are really, really good about sharing that with everybody and giving everybody the opportunity to have a voice. And I love that.
Yeah. My job as CEO, and I say this all the time, is not to know everything, but to find people that do. And, truly and sincerely, I think that a good CEO is made of someone that forms and brings people around them that have the answers, and each of them have a little bit of the answer, or some of them maybe have all the answers. But the thing is, I know as a CEO that I don't have all the answers, and I'll never have all the answers, but I can surround myself with great quality people that have the answers, and we can work together to find that solution. And I think that there's a lot of CEOs out there, unfortunately, that don't have that rhetoric and don't believe that they don't know everything. And the sooner that you can humble yourself as a CEO and realize that you have to surround yourself with experts and wonderful creative people, especially in our industry, the better off you'll be. And that's why I hold each and every single one of my employees or peers, so to speak, to the highest regard. That's for sure.
Well, I think you could ask any one of us, and we'd all tell you that we really appreciate the way that you treat all of us.
Yes.
This question is from Gina,
okay,
who's also on our design team.
Yeah.
Oh, Valencia says she wants you to open a second franchise in Cincinnati.
Well, Valencia, are you going to run it? If you're going to run it, we can talk. But that is something that I've thought about for quite some time, is doing a franchise of Brutus Monroe, because let's face it, a lot of the big box craft stores out there right now just don't cut it when it comes to the education and knowing what exactly their store has to offer. And luckily, Brutus Monroe, we've kind of created an art form on knowing what product we have and taking pride in that. And I think it would be cool to have a couple of Brutus Monroes out there in the world. I mean, what do you what do you guys think?
I say, yeah, we need one on the west side.
It would be great.
Penny also wants to come and see your shoe collection and how big it's gotten since the last time she was here.
Oh my goodness, it's about tripled in size, my friend. It's about triple.
And Valencia says, "I got peeps." And no,
oh, good.
I'm not at Create.
No, that is Heather and Jess are at Create. They're actually there as we speak. They've been sending me pictures all night.
I'm there in spirit. And Kelly wants one in Minnesota. And okay. Jenny, hello. Okay, so Gina asked, who or what inspired you to start your own company, and who and what motivates you to develop new ideas?
Oh, that's very simple. So I've told this story before, and I think kind of my first creative jolt when I was very, very young was my Aunt Verge. So my Aunt Verge is an incredible crafter, a phenomenal artist, and she is just the absolute best. If any of you were able to get, in October, we did a breast cancer awareness stick and stamp mat, and we always do the breast cancer awareness pink mailers, and those are in honor of my Aunt Verge. She is a breast cancer survivor, and she's just the absolute best. But she, when I was little, had a craft room. And I was amazed and just baffled that this was a room that was devoted to crafts. And I couldn't wait to go to her house whenever we would go and hang out, because she had puppy paints and we would make sweatshirts and she was always painting things. And it was just incredible to me, because that was my first real exposure to not only crafting, but that there were people that did this, all the time. And there were other people that enjoyed this, and other people that really enjoyed having crafty time or creative time. And I can remember going with my mom when I was younger to Joann Fabrics. There used to be a Joann Fabrics like literally right down the street from us. The mall doesn't exist anymore. But I was just in such awe of anything creative and all things sparkly and fun and colorful. And I knew that someday I would do something that was creative. I mean, I would have never told you I would have been the CEO of my own craft company. That was certainly a far reach. But I knew that I would do something creative, and I'm very fortunate that I get to do that every day. But my Aunt Verge is truly who inspired me to create and do these different types of things. And really, I don't really have an answer to what inspires me to create new things. It's very strange. I will be somewhere very random on a trip, and I'll see something, and Rob, my partner, it's hilarious because I'll be taking pictures of carpets and curtains and different scenery and Broadway shows, and he's always like, what? He's like, okay, just take your pictures. And I immediately will come back to my office when I'm done, and I'll print them all out, and I'll doodle on them, and I'll draw things. And there's nothing that's safe in this world from a creative mind. I truly believe that. I'll see something so random. The other day I saw a tissue box, and I loved the pattern, and I said, okay, I have to figure out a way to replicate this, but still keep the integrity of the original designer. But it's really, I see things everywhere that I want to create.
It's true. And we have so many fun products. I always get products and projects tongue-tied, obviously. Mm-hmm. But it's fun to look, like I'll see wood grain on something and I'll be like, ooh, that kind of looks like one of our colors. You know what I mean? It's funny how they work together to inspire.
Yes.
All right. So Rebecca asked from the design team. All of these are from the design team for now. Michelle is at Create right now, by the way.
Oh, awesome, Michelle. Make sure you guys say hi to Heather and Jessica. They're at our booth right now.
Okay, Rebecca asked, what is one product that Brutus Monroe doesn't carry, but you really want to?
Oh, that is a very, very good question. So I can let you in on a little secret that I don't even think most of the team knows about. But we used to, way back when I first started the company, we had an ink line. and I loved our inks. I was obsessed with our inks. They were a chalk base. They were called surface inks, and they were really, really cool. But we are working currently with a manufacturer. Now, this isn't something that's going to happen tomorrow. We're talking probably last quarter of this year, first quarter of 2024. But we're working on bringing back our inks. So that's something that I desperately wanted to bring back. We have our embossing ink, we have our detail ink, we have our alabaster, we have our Sherlock disappearing ink, but I really miss our colors. And that was really how I started the company. Believe it or not, when I started the company, I had 2 stamp sets, and then I went right to ink manufacturing, which is absurd. Nobody, when they start in this industry, starts with ink. It's like insanity. But I worked with our manufacturer and I said, can I please just order like 24 of each color, which is like an insanely low amount. And he was like, well, let's meet halfway and let's do 48 of each color. And I had 6 colors when I first started. And actually the other day, someone just found the swatch sheet that I had from when we first launched them. And I said, okay, let's do 48. And I launched them on YouTube because that was really where everything began. And they were gone in about 24 hours. So I knew we were on to something. And it was very different. If you remember our ink line, if you've been with me for a long time, our ink line was very different. I mean, it wasn't like any ink line that you had seen out there. The colors were very bold. They had great names like Phone Book and Jurassic and Oz, and they were in Wagon. They were some really, really cool shades. So hopefully we'll be able to bring those back within the next couple of months. But cardstock is also something that we're working on bringing back because y'all loved our cardstock. And it broke my heart when we had to stop carrying it because we had a lot of manufacturer issues and sourcing issues. But those are 2 things that you'll see coming back from Brutus Monroe very soon.
Penny said, LOL, you haven't done anything traditionally. You started online and then went to a brick and mortar while others were closing their doors.
It's true. Everyone said I was cuckoo. They said, what are you doing? And really and truly, the reason that the brick and mortar store worked and the reason that it happened was because of all of you. I mean, there were so many of you that emailed and sent letters and messages and said, Christopher, we want the Brutus Monroe experience. How do we get the Brutus Monroe experience? Online is not enough. And I worked for months and months and months to try to figure out what the Brutus Monroe experience was because I knew what online was. And, I worked in that. I was a director of marketing before I took the leap to work for this. And I knew that I couldn't do it unless I worked in retail. So many of you may not know this story, but I left my big boy job, my very comfortable marketing job, and went and worked at Joann Fabrics for $11.80 an hour. And that was like the highest position they had was $11.80 an hour, working in the back room, unloading the truck because I wanted to learn how retail crafting worked. And my manager thought I was the best employee that ever existed because I had a notebook and I wrote everything down. I mean, everything, how they did the floor sets, how they did the sales, because I needed to learn how to do retail. And then once I worked there, I almost worked there for a year. And then I left and I said, okay, we're ready. And we opened up our first teeny tiny retail location. Our first retail location was 400 square feet. Our new retail location, our current retail location is 2,600 square feet. So we definitely upgraded a little bit. But yeah, that was, I really only opened it for all of you because I never wanted retail. Oh my Lord. If I never had to work in retail again, it would not be soon enough. But this type of retail experience is very different. And I hope that all of you have the chance to come to the Brutus Monroe Studio store because it's not like any retail that you've ever seen. We don't look like a craft store. So if anybody's ever been here before, and I think there's a few of you in the chat that have been here, it doesn't look anything like a craft store. Everybody says we're like the Anthropologie of crafts. So if you've ever been to an Anthropologie store or seen an Anthropologie, that's what we look like. We're very vintage. We're very funky. We're very, it just doesn't look like, it certainly doesn't look like your grandmama's craft store. That's for sure.
Right. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Colleen said, thank you to you for being a shopping enabler. She's getting her Happy Mail tomorrow.
Oh, good. Good. I wish I could tell you all about the mystery boxes, but they're all gone already.
Oh, man. Yeah, those go fast, don't they?
They always go very, very quick. Very, very
Candy says, Oz is still the best.
Mm-hmm. It's my favorite.
Valencia said 12 by 12 size, please, for the paper. And I'm just going to take a quick Lance.
I have to interrupt real quick. Rob just corrected me. He texted me. He said he said you made $8.80 an hour. So I guess I shot. He said you would have been doing good at 11.80 an hour. He said you made 8.80 an hour. Thank you, Rob. He said you gave yourself quite the raise.
Valencia says, and I'm sure she's talking about the Brutus Monroe store. She said it's like Candyland with sparkle.
Yes, Valencia had a lot of fun whenever she was here. She got the full tour of the facilities too.
Very cool. It says golden ticket time. It's so fun.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Donna R would like to know what is the most difficult part of your job?
Oh my goodness, definitely. I would say I'm trying to think of this. The best way to say it would probably be holding back. I guess you would say, and trying to minimize what I want to release and what I want to do. Believe me, if it was up to me, we would be releasing new products every single day, and there would be no stopping me. But luckily, we have an incredible creative team at Brutus Monroe that says, Christopher, take it down a notch. Although, luckily, they've never told me not to do anything yet. So I haven't gone too far yet, but I know the day will come eventually. But it's really minimizing what I want to release and minimizing what I want to do. That is the hardest part of my job because I want to release and do everything that we possibly can. But that's really the hardest part. I would say that back in the day, it was payroll that was hard for me. But now my mama does that, so it's not. I don't have that anguish anymore, so to speak. But really, the CEO stuff was always what was the hardest for me because I wasn't cut out to be a CEO. I kind of just became one. But luckily, I think I filled the bill to a certain extent. But it's the stuff that wasn't creative was what was always very difficult for me. But now, luckily, my mom, as well as several other admins that we have on staff, are able to do that. So I can have fun again.
That's awesome. Okay, let's see. Christina says that she lives nearby you and she loves your store.
Oh,
and
awesome, Christina. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, this kind of goes along with what Rebecca asked. She said, Kate said, what is a crafty product you wish you invented?
Oh my goodness. I would say,
It's hard to narrow down, huh?
It's not only is it hard to narrow it down, but there's nothing that the Misty. I will say the Misty.
That one came to my mind too.
I'm very, very close with Ileana. She's been a good friend of mine for many years, and I love the Misty. It's literally the most incredible stamping. I can't remember what it stands for, but it lives up to its name, and I'm obsessed with the Misty. So I would say that I would have loved to have invented it, but I wouldn't want to have to deal with all of the craziness of selling it, and there's just so many different people that get the Misty that I wouldn't want that back end of it, but I think that would have been a really cool invention.
Yeah, one of those aha, eureka.
Yeah. Yep.
Jerry said that you used to give sneak peeks before Heather put an end to that.
Yes, that is correct. I'm actually working on a sneak peek in front of me right now, which is tomorrow's summer release. I have been having so much fun. I've been playing with it really pretty much all day since Shannon and I had a meeting earlier. When we got off, I immediately ran to the studio and have been playing with every single thing that has come in, and I really, really love this release. If you love summer, if you love barbecue, if you love really bold word dies, which we've never done before, you are really, really going to love this release. And it's called You Are My Sunshine is the name of the release, and it goes live tomorrow at noon. So you'll be seeing it everywhere tomorrow. You won't be able to go too far without seeing our release.
Did you want to sneak peek some of that, or are you saving that for tomorrow?
We'll save it. Save it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I don't have everything here, and literally my desk right now is shambles of different, literally dies that have not. Well, I could show you this dies that have not even been cut apart yet, and paper pads that are all astrew. So there's a little bit of a sneak peek, but
there you go. Yeah, if you want to pause it, you can go back and if you're really that hungry for it. Penny asked if Sharon, your mommy, is going to take care of the food at Create Your Own Ending.
She is doing all of the food again. And don't worry, she's already got the snacks planned. So if y'all have ever been to a Create Your Own Ending event before, my mom does a snack buffet, and it is out of this world. I mean, we're talking bins of different types of popcorns and chips. And I mean, you will not go hungry creatively or belly-wise at the Create Your Own Ending event. That is for certain. So if you haven't signed up yet, you better get on it because I think there's only
For
like
sure.
12 or 11 spots left for the in-person.
Wow. Yep. Valencia said, and I can't agree more, that your sticky pad is great. So somebody out there is wishing that they invented the sticky mat, the
Yeah,
stamp and stick mat.
it's
Is it
that's
stick and
been
stamp or stamp and stick? I always do it backwards.
stick and stamp.
Stick and
Yeah,
stamp.
I used to get it backwards all the time too, and then I had to think about like, okay, you have to stick it on there before
Oh,
you
two
stamp it. So
stamps. That makes
that's how I
sense.
start. Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, Donna says Heather isn't there. Sneak peek time.
Well, I could probably share a couple of sneak peeks. That's what I'll do because y'all are paying very close attention and you're being so great. So I think I can probably grab a couple things from the back and do some sneak peeks.
All right, you just tell me when, and I'll just.
Well, we'll do it once we wrap up the questions.
Okay, you bet. Let's see. Michelle asked, "Are we playing with some of it at Create?" And that is a no,
No,
right?
none
Sorry,
of the
the
new
answer
stuff
for
is
you.
at Create. Nope.
Kelly wants to know if you'll be teaching any watercoloring classes. I'm assuming at Create Your Own Ending.
At Create Your Own Ending, I believe I am teaching some watercolor classes, and I'm also teaching another type of a class. I'll just leave it at that. We will be releasing, I think it's probably next Friday is when we'll start to release sneak peeks of the Create Your Own Ending event. But I'll just leave it with the classes that you'll be taking from me are very Christopher Allen. So if you've taken classes with me before, it is you're going to learn about watercoloring. You're going to learn about color theory. Generally, is my forte, and teaching how colors work together and how you can watercolor. And you'll see there's a lot of great things that we have planned for you. But really and truly and sincerely, when I tell you this, and I'm not telling you this just because I own the company, this Create Your Own Ending event is by far the most well thought out and most elaborate Create Your Own Ending event that we've ever done. And the reason for that is in the past, obviously it was still a very well thought out event, but in the past there were other companies that worked with us. And this is the first year that it's all Brutus Monroe. So we can give you the most product, we can give you the best classes because we own it. We own the product. We own what we're giving you. So you'll see it's the biggest creator. I mean, I can only say that. It's the biggest creator ending event you'll ever be at. And the make and takes alone, I think, are worth the price of admission. I mean, when you see what you're getting just for those, but I digress because I don't want to give away too much. It's going to be incredible.
Okay, let's see. Oh, Jerry's just so excited. Let's see, to go to Create Your Own Ending. Jenny says, my husband just asked if we could have a sneak buffet for dinner. Okay, and yes, it is the 5th anniversary of Create Your Own Ending.
Yes.
Okay, let me find a couple more questions, and we will. And you're going to create tonight. Do I understand that right?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
No, I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
No.
Sorry, guys. False alarm.
No, I will. No, don't spread that rumor. I'll be in big trouble if I don't show up.
I saw your face. You're like, oops, I was wrong. Sorry about that.
I will not, and it's not a surprise either. So don't anybody think that like something slipped. Right. Like I'm not making a surprise appearance. We have a giant release here tomorrow, and I have to be here to help to circumvent that because two of our creative director and our director of operations is out gallivanting in Ohio. So someone has to be here to steer the ship. So that's I will stay here.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Annie Collins wants to know what your favorite Brutus Monroe product to create with is.
Oh, definitely our watercolors. Without a doubt. Our aqua pigments are one of my absolute favorite things in the whole entire world to use. It's probably my number one right next to the Christopher Sentiments die set. I'm obsessed with that one. That's one of the first things that we ever did in my handwriting, my scripty handwriting. And then I really love the butterflies too. The butterfly dies are really great, but it's hard to pick because I have certain stamps that I'm absolutely in love with and will always be in love with, as well as certain paper pads. But I would say our aqua pigments and our embossing powders. So it's a toss up between the two. Our aqua pigments cannot be beat, and our embossing powders also can't be beat. They're the best.
Colleen asks, what is the ink you recommend for stamping that is compatible with alcohol inks?
For our inks, that would be our Raven Detail ink. So our Raven Detail ink that looks like this, it comes in the 2x2 pad. It is alcohol marker safe and watercolor resistant. So what that means is you want to make sure that it's set. So A lot of folks, I think, have the misconception that it's set when you stamp it a couple of times and you let it sit. If you use a MISTI, which most everyone does, or any stamp positioner, it doesn't have to be a MISTI, whatever stamp positioner, if you stamp it like 2 or 3 times, which you see me do a lot in videos, you have to heat set it, because what you're doing is you're just layering ink on top of ink. And although that bottom layer may have sunk into the paper and started to dry, those top layers on top have not. Think of it like you're painting a room. If you paint a room, that bottom layer might be kind of dry, but as you're painting over top of it, you're just reconstituting that paint. So you really want to heat set it, but this is the only ink that I use. And this ink is really cool because it was actually created for the newspaper industry. So if you've ever seen like a newspaper that gets wet, the ink doesn't bleed. It doesn't go anywhere. So it's very, very similar to that.
Kelly wants to know if the virtual people for Create Your Own Ending can order a snack pack or of the items that that you carry. So.
I could tell you there's gonna be a little snack pack in your box, so I can reveal that you're gonna get a little Pittsburgh snack pack in your box.
Hi Gina, by the way, she just tuned in. Let's see. Are you still having a book released?
Yes, the date has kind of been pushed because of the pandemic. But Jerry's talking about my memoir that's called "How to Tie a Tie and Other Things My Mother Taught Me." I've been working on it, and it was almost to its completion, but then a whole bunch of stuff happened. So the pandemic happened, and we survived the pandemic, which I never thought was going to happen. And we had a crazy, crazy year also in 2021. So I think there's probably about 2 or 3 more chapters that I still have to write. But I'm hoping the goal for the book is that it would be released by my 40th birthday, which I have 2 years, right around 2 years for that. So that's my goal.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. Michelle's excited. I'm so glad you're excited, Michelle. And then it's, let's see, we've got, Jenny wants everyone to know, she's giving a little sneak information that the summer release stamps, and they ink and stamp very smoothly the first time.
Oh, good. Well, that's a Brutus Monroe stamp. We switched manufacturers recently, and they do a great job. I will say that.
Okay, let's see. Lisa wants to know what top 3 crafty items or tools are required for you to create a project.
Oh, well, for me, it would be a really great stamp, whether it's photopolymer or rubber. And I only say rubber because we did release a couple of rubber stamps, and I can reveal to you that my newest collection with Unity will be launching in May. I just got the final okay from their CEO, Miss Ange, who is a very dear friend of mine. So those will be releasing in May. You need a really, really great ink. You need a really, really great ink, and you need the best cardstock that you can find, because I have found that there are so many people that skimp on their cardstock, and don't do it. Don't do it. It's not. You don't want to go with a cheap cardstock. I know it's very, very tempting to go with the cheap cardstock, but you will learn very quickly in your card making and paper crafting career that the cheaper the cardstock, the worse your results are going to be. And I say that because if you have a really great cardstock, you can make so many different things with it. You can make a card base, you can die cut, you can cut different shapes. With a really great ink, you can not only stamp it, but most inks you can use to watercolor with, or you can use to shade. And a really great stamp will get you started on your journey of stamping a focal image or a patterned image on that paper, and then of course a sentiment. So those 3 things in my eyes are the number 1 things that you need to get started. But of course, it would take all night if you wanted the top 10.
Well, it's fun because Lisa's on and she agrees with you 100%. She asked the question originally, so that's kind of fun.
Yep.
Candy wants to know what your favorite technique is and which one scares you.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so my absolute favorite technique ever is going to probably be watercoloring. I love watercoloring. A close second would definitely be alcohol marker coloring. Watercoloring is my favorite technique. It's what I love to do, and when I'm bored, that is something that I constantly reach for. What scares me, and this might shock some of you because some of you might be like, I would think that Christopher would love doing this, is that darn jelly plate. It scares the tar out of me. And I think it's because I like instant gratification, and That I'm a stamper. I mean, you stamp it, you pick it up, and it's stamped and it's done. That jelly plate, I mean, you can put down 623 layers before you're done. So, and you can't see the layer that you did before. So, although I've experimented with the jelly plate, we carry the jelly plates. I've done a lot of fun things with them. That's probably the scariest thing for me because you invest a lot of time in it, and if it
Mhm.
doesn't peel up the way that you want it to peel up, you're like, oh my goodness, what the heck did I do? So the jelly plate is really what probably frightens me the most because you don't know what you're going to get.
Penny says, May May is showing fun stuff she found at Creativation. Did you find anything great for us when you went?
Yes, so we have a lot of things coming. I can tell you that tomorrow, on top of the release, we have the oh, excuse me, 1 second, everybody. Jessica's calling me. I just want to make sure she's okay.
So if you guys have any other questions, right now is a good time to. Oh, what was that?
I guess it wasn't that bad. She hung up.
Oh, it was a false alarm.
Yes, I'm just going to text her real quick just to make sure.
Sure. This is a good chance if you're a slow texter like me, you can hurry and get your question in there and get it all typed up.
Oh, she's calling back. Let's see. I'm live.
Hey,
Everyone's
I'm live.
hello.
So I'll call you back. I'll call you guys back in a minute, okay? Bye. They said hi to everybody.
And there was no streaming or anything, so
No. So anyway, things that we brought back from Creativation. So the Doodlebug release will be here tomorrow. So if you're obsessed with kitty cats and puppy dogs, y'all are going to lose your minds tomorrow. I can tell you right now. We brought in the whole release. There's not a single thing we didn't bring in. It'll all be here tomorrow. And you all
Aaron's cringing in the background.
you are all going to lose your minds when you see this collection because it's probably the most dynamic collection I think they've ever done. Because I mean, they've done fairies and they've done different things that are fun and whimsical. But I mean, everybody loves a cat or a dog, and this collection is out of this world. Simple Stories. We're bringing in almost every single one of their new collections, and wait until you see their new collections. It's just absolutely insane. We're bringing in some new spellbinders, and I think we're bringing in new Ranger. Some of the old faithfuls, but I would say the standout from the show would be Doodlebug. It is just and Buttons Galore. We brought in I think we brought in 52 new SKUs from Buttons Galore. I was looking over here because I thought it was still here, but I tell you, those girls have been receiving and shipping. They come down here and they scoop that up so quick and take it back upstairs. But yeah, that's mostly what we have. But Doodlebug, oh my goodness, when you see Doodlebug, actually, Shannon, I'll send you the catalog tonight so you can look at it, so you can peruse and see what you might want.
What I might want. Well, and we have a new puppy, so that's
yeah.
And
but the great thing about Shannon is she can actually go in and look at it now, and she can build herself an order so that everything's gone really quickly.
Aaron's just like starting to shiver. He may pass out on this. He's like, no.
I'm surprised he hasn't texted me yet and said, "Cut it."
Okay, let's see. We've got Shweta asked, if you were not the CEO of a wonderful crafting company, what would you rather be, or who would you choose to be?
Oh my goodness. I don't know, actually. I really haven't, since I became a CEO, I haven't really given it much thought. I would say that probably right where I'm at. I don't know that there's anything else that I would rather be doing. I saw the question because I saw a lot of the questions. Spoiler alert, I screened them beforehand to make sure that I had some sort of an answer for you. But this is right where I belong, and this is right where I want to be. So I can't imagine being anywhere else, and this is it.
That's awesome, I think. Tina, by the way, said that she gives up. Her last name is Barker, so she can't resist a dog.
Oh, that'll do it. That'll do it.
Sandy asked 3 questions. I'll just, I can either shoot them all at you at once, or you can choose to.
It's completely up to you. If you think that I will be able to do them all at once, then I am all ears.
Let's see. The first one is, what is your favorite craft item to make? We already talked about what your favorite Brutus Monroe product is, didn't we? So pretty much covered that. And then where is your favorite place in Brutus Monroe headquarters?
Oh, that's perfect. So my favorite thing to make is definitely a card. It would be a card or a tag. I really, really enjoy doing tags. And my absolute favorite place in the whole world of Brutus Monroe is my office. My office was a long time coming. I didn't have an office at Brutus. Well, I've always had some sort of an office, but never in the scale that my office is now. And I always wanted an office that was like an apartment, so that when people came in, they felt like they were at home. They didn't feel like they were in a stark, cold, dreary office. So my office is very much like an apartment. There's a couch, there's an eating table, it's very fun and funky. So check out our
Your TikTok video today, didn't that show your office?
yeah, there's a pan of my office and a couple of the TikToks and there's an old TikTok that has a lot of my office in it, but it's really fun. I wanted to create an office that I felt like I was at home and didn't ever want to leave, and that's really what my office is.
Very cool. Okay, let's see. I asked this one. If money were no object and time was not a factor, what would your ultimate dream vacation be?
Oh my goodness, Tuscany. 100% without a doubt. I've wanted to go to Tuscany, Italy for a very long time. I don't know if any of y'all have ever seen the movie Under the Tuscan Sun, but it's one of my absolute favorites. Diane Lane is just absolutely exquisite, but it made me fall in love with Tuscany. So one day I'll get there, and one day it's a time thing, I think, because it's got to be like more than a week if I'm going to Tuscany, but it's one day I'll get there, and maybe that'll be for the 10-year anniversary of Brutus Monroe. Maybe I'll take a trip, which is, if you can believe it, next year. We'll be 10 years old.
Well, you could make it a double celebration, because it'll be the 10th year and you'll almost be 40.
I know. I'll be 40 in 2 years. Yep.
Okay, Jenny asked, when you were young, what was your, I love this question, by the way. What was your favorite color in a box of crayons?
Orange. Orange is my absolute favorite color, which a lot of people cringe because they're like, oh my Lord, orange is such a crazy color. But orange has always been my favorite color. And I don't know why. So many people have asked me why orange is so appealing to me, but I think it's because it stands out, and it's a color that, you know, if it's amongst a whole bunch of other colors, you see orange, and I like that about it. I pick my colors like I pick my people. I want people that stand out and that are different from the crowd, and I certainly don't want a wallflower. That is for certain. Oh my goodness, how boring. So I love people, to be surrounded by people that stand out and are fun and funky and different, and that's orange. So I think that's kind of where it all began.
I love that. Okay, let's see. Jenny also asked if you would explain what create your own ending means to you and Brutus Monroe.
Oh my goodness. Well, create your own ending. It kind of happened by accident. I was talking one day. It was when Periscope was still around. I don't know if any of you remember Periscope, but Periscope was like the first live thing you could do. And I was on Periscope and I was talking about somebody was having a real hard time, because I used to do live classes. That was kind of how it all began, is I would do live classes with the projects and the products. And she was like, I just don't know what to do. I'm lost. I don't know what to create. I'm having such a hard time with this. And it just slipped out. And I said, well, you'll just have to create your own ending. And I immediately, started the trademark process about a month later. But it's to me, creating your own ending, and it's part of our mission statement, is really creating your own ending in all facets of life. You have the power to create an ending of a bad situation, or create the ending of a good situation and move on to a different. And you have the power to create your own ending when it comes to projects and different art. So it's really creating your own ending. Again, sometimes when it's a good thing you're creating an ending to, just to start a new beginning, it doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. So we, in our mission statement, creating your own ending is in all facets of life, as part of our mission statement. And that's really what it means to me. You have the ability to create whatever ending you would like, especially when it's a new beginning.
I love it too. And I love the fact that you can have a plot twist at the very end of whatever situation you're in, and you can switch things up for the better. And absolutely. I think it's amazing.
Absolutely.
Let's see. By the way, Jenny said that she's taking her kids to Tuscany on May 25th.
Oh, wow. Well, you'll have to tell me how it is.
Let's see. Yeah, she can give you some tips. Mackie wants to know what goes into creating a stamp set.
Oh goodness. Well, I could tell you back in the day, it was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears on my part, but I've relinquished that very recently. But back in the day, I used to illustrate every stamp set at Brutus Monroe, and it was a lot. It took me a lot, and stamps were created and designed at a very very slow pace back then because it was just me. But now we have a whole creative team. So we have Shannon, we have Darren, and we have Heather, and they all kind of work together with me on figuring out how we are going to develop these stamp sets, whether Darren's going to illustrate it or Emily, who is our lead illustrator, if she's going to illustrate it, and wait until you see the things that are coming that she has just recently illustrated. But it's really just a thought process. So when we start, we all kind of sit around at a virtual meeting table because, as most of you know, Darren and Shannon both work from home, and Heather and I are here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So we sit around and we bounce ideas off of each other. And once the ideas are bounced off of me, I am very hands off until the end. And that's very important to me because I want them to be able to use their ideas and their creativity to kind of begin a base, a foundation, so to speak, of what the release and what the stamps will be. And then I swoop in, and most of the time I love everything. There's occasional times when we have to switch things up and change things, but most of the time I love everything because remember, I brought them in for a reason, and they really know our style. So it starts with a thought process, then we go into sketching and illustrating, and then it becomes an actual stamp set, and then we work on fonts and different types of sentiments, and then it becomes a stamp set. But then there's also die lines that have to be created, and there's inserts that have to be created. So, I mean, one stamp set, there's a lot that goes into it. I mean, Darren will tell you because he does everything from start to finish. But it's once you've done it for a while, and once you have the hang of it, it's kind of second nature, which is what's so great about Darren because he can knock them out very quickly once we have the idea in mind. But it takes about a month to a month and a half to really lock down a release, sometimes more.
All right. Angie asked, who inspires you as a designer?
Oh, Tim, definitely Tim. I've said this before. When I was, I think it was like 13, 12 or 13. He was on the Carol Duvall show, and I rushed home to watch him on the Carol Duvall show because I was so excited that there was a guy that was in the craft industry, and there was a guy that was using stamps. So it was definitely Tim, and I've been fortunate enough to have a couple of conversations with Tim and sit down with him, and he's everything that I had hoped he would be, and he's definitely inspired. I would say kind of my design style because I see a lot of what I love and a lot of what he does. But I would say that I'm a little bit of a quirkier Tim style. Tim likes very rugged and very vintage and distressed things, and I kind of like the newer version of what Tim likes. So I don't like mine to be that distressed, but it's like what I design, and then 10 years down the road of where is what Tim has. So I feel like
Conservatively distressed.
It's just a little bit. It's just the fresh version of it, I guess you could say. But we don't really have a whole lot of things that really mimic that anymore. When I very first started, I really held on to that because he was my inspiration. But we don't really do a whole lot of the grungy and funky like we used to.
I have a question.
Sure.
Of all of the stamp sets that you've released, is there one that stands out as your very favorite?
Oh, this is a really tough one. Well, I would say, does it have to be one that's current,
No,
or could it be one that has been retired?
it can be. You can pick both, or you can pick one or the other. Either way,
Okay. So I would say now again we've released hundreds and hundreds of stamp sets since we started here at Brutus Monroe, but I would say probably one of my absolute favorites that we ever did. We used to have one that was a monster birthday, and I don't know if anybody had seen this or has this stamp set, but it was all about monsters, and it was like monster cupcakes, and there were worms in the cupcakes, and there were eyeball balloons, and I really, really, really loved that one. And then the close second would be we used to have a witch stamp set, and the witch stamp set was different witch faces, and she had different expressions, and based upon the expression that you used for the witch, that would be the sentiment that you would use. So those are, and of course, they're both creepy Halloween.
Yeah, it's not surprising that they're Halloween
but,
themed.
yeah, those would be my two favorite, and then I guess a close third, if not first, would be the Sharon script because that is in my mom's handwriting, and I absolutely love that. Well, it's a digitized version of it, but that's probably one of my favorite stamp sets we've ever done.
That's very cool. I didn't even put that together. That's awesome.
Yes.
Jenny says if it's retired, you might need a reprint.
Mm. Yeah,
And Matt,
it was actually what we used to do a 4x8 size. So it's a very different size. We used to do quite a few in 4x8. But I could tell you for the 10-year anniversary, you're going to see a lot of stamps making a comeback.
oh, how fun. I love that.
Yeah.
And Gina said that that was the first stamp set she ever bought, and she still has it.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites. It's Brutus and Friends is a good one too, Penny. That's one that we still have. So I kind of forget about that one. That's one of the first stamps that we ever launched, and we still carry it to this day.
I love that one too.
Yeah.
Let's see. Does anybody else have any more questions?
While they're thinking that up and you round them up, I'll go grab a couple of sneak peeks.
You bet. This is so much fun. I love that you guys are all participating. It's fun to have all these fun questions to find out all the answers about. Hopefully you're feverishly typing something. Now's the chance to get those questions answered. Oh, thanks, Kelly. I think it's a lot of fun. In fact, I should let you know, keep watching because like every other week at least, maybe even every week for a little while, I think we've got it down so that Christopher is actually going to start interviewing members of our design team. And so it'll be a lot of fun. Oh, Donna, my favorite stamp set. Oh my goodness. That is a hard one. I can't imagine how Christopher felt because he's familiar with even more of them than I am. Darren, what one do you help me think of? What one? On the spot, I don't know if I should have thought of one ahead of time. I really liked the Mother's Bouquet. That one I love to color, and those big blooms they are so much fun to color. That would probably be my first favorite. But I have lots of favorites, so it is hard to narrow it down. But yes, that one's probably my very favorite. Lucas wants to hear about where the name Brutus Monroe came from. Okay, I will ask Christopher when he returns.
I think you have more favorite dies than stamps.
I love the dies and the stamps. There's so many fun ones to play with. So many. Hi, Heather.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay.
And I can tell you that Heather's very lucky because a lot of the stuff has already been moved upstairs. So
she just popped on. I don't know. Somebody tipped her off because she's on.
Great. There's a mole. I think that I'm probably bugged.
Somebody must have said her name 3 times.
Yeah, I'm probably bugged is probably what it is. So let me add another camera real quick. Okay.
Darren, somebody wants to know what your favorite die set is that you created.
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yes, that was Donna R that wants to know that.
We'll give you a second.
Well, I made so many. It's hard
to you may have stumped him. I think what he's trying to do is figure out which ones have been released and which ones have not, too.
Correct. That's my hard.
Yeah. We got to move on, Darren. Come on.
I know. I think my favorite one is Fabulous Florals because it seems to be popular and it's very you get a lot of use out of it.
Darren likes Fabulous Florals because it's so versatile.
And it's coming back.
Yeah.
It is coming back.
And Lucas wants to hear where the name Brutus Monroe came from.
It came from my dog. Yes, it was my puppy dog's name.
Very cool.
Okay, so let me know when. Oh, did I see a question from Tina? Did we get to her?
We haven't answered that yet. I just barely saw it. Flower market card panels and conversation clippings released individually. Once the month is over, right?
Oh no, they can be released now.
Oh, they are?
Yeah.
Okay.
They just may have never gotten flipped on. So we might want to add that to our notes for tomorrow.
Okay. So they just need to be activated.
Yep, they just need to be activated, that's all.
Okay. Let's see.
Okay. So I'm going to show you a couple of sneak peeks. I don't know, it looks like my camera is flipped. Is there a way for me to fix that?
Mine looked that way last time, but my view of your camera is fine.
Oh, so it's not flipped?
No, not. It just shows it to you that way.
Okay, perfect. All right. So a couple of things that I can share with you now that are different things that are being released. So first and foremost, I can show you one of the paper pads in its final form. So this paper pad, again, is going to be released tomorrow. And I'm looking for my little choppy blade, but I don't know where it ran off to. But in this pad, we have two paper pads that are releasing with this particular release. And also we have a panel set that hopefully gets done in time that will be released as well, that I don't even think Shannon and Darren have seen yet, because I kind of went rogue. But that's sometimes what I have to do whenever I have an idea and we have a deadline. But this is the... And of course, I can't get open. Sometimes they put two stickers on these, and it drives me bonkers. But this is called Summer Break. So as most of you know, when we release a paper collection, we generally will do two different types of paper collections. One will be kind of playful and fun, and the other one will be a little bit more muted or a little bit more serious. With this one, we have some suns and sunglasses and sun rays and ketchup and mayonnaise and mustard, some little leaves here, of course, a picnic table print, some clouds, as well as some water. And I love these burgers on the purple because it's just so unexpected. Then we have some purple gingham, and then some watermelon slices, and then some grass, and then it starts over again. And again, I'll go over all of this with you tomorrow in great detail. Tonight's just a sneak peek. So that's the first paper pad. Next, we'll move on to the second paper pad that I'll show you. And what I'm showing you tonight is literally not even a quarter of the release. So the next one is probably my favorite, which is the Vintage Patio. So Vintage Patio, as most of you probably remember from the vintage days, these were the patterns that were on everything. So this was on beach towels. This was the background of the stone that was in the different patios. These were bathing suits. These were, I mean, you name it, these patterns were used on it. So this is a really cool kind of everyday pattern paper pad, but it really goes with that vintage patio aesthetic. And this is what they all look like. They're really, really cool. Okay. Sneak peek. Again, we'll be digging in even further tomorrow. Then this is something that I was actually going to be a surprise for Shannon tomorrow because she has no idea that we're releasing these. She knows about something else that we're releasing, but these were kind of a surprise that I know she's going to drop dead over. But these are a die cut that we have. So we're starting to launch die cuts that are pre-cut for you and already ready to go. And these are little flip-flops.
Oh,
they're cut out of our cardstock, our glitter stock, and there are two. You get 4 different sets of the glitter stock, and then of course you also get the little part that goes on the top, and it fits on there just absolutely.
Oh my
perfect.
Gosh, I'm dying.
And the great things about this is these are only going to be available at BrutusMonroe.com. So some of the die cuts and some of the ephemera pieces will only be available here at Brutus Monroe just because we manufacture these in-house at Brutus Monroe, and there's no way we would be able to do the thousands of them that we would need in order to do them for our wholesalers. So this is an exclusive to Brutus Monroe. So you can only get it.
The papers just come in the 6x6 size.
Yes, currently just in 6x6. There has been an ask for 6x8. We could probably do something like that in the future, but we don't have anything in the works for that right now. But we're always creating new things. Okay, next up, let's show you a stamp set next. So this is so cool, and Darren illustrated this, and I'm so proud of him because it's the first illustrated from start to finish stamp set that he's ever done, and this is called Froggy Fun, and First of all, can we talk about this frog? The camera's backwards, so I'm like a weather person. This little frog with this bikini makes me so happy to be alive. I can't get enough of her. So, of course, we have the different frogs. We have the frog that's waving, the frog that's in the pool. We have the little frog on the sitting on the little beach chair. We have the frog that's grilling, and these are all just super cute little summer frogs. And I mean, who doesn't love frogs? And then, of course, there's lily pads, so you can put them kind of in a pool that looks like it's a little swamp area. But it's just so cool. And unfortunately, I don't have any of the stencils to share with you because Daryl, who is super efficient, who is our director of laser production, already took them all upstairs. So I don't have a single stencil to show you, but I'll show you all of them tomorrow because we have some really great ones launching. Next up, I can share with you another stamp set. So this is a smaller stamp set. This stamp set was created to work with the frogs and work with like kind of a beachy barbecue-y thing. So this is a picnic table with all sorts of different picnic-y items. So there's a watermelon, there's little chips, burgers, and you'll notice that if you order a stamp and die combo, they have this fun little sticker on them, and then the dies are in the back. So that's how your stamp and die combo comes. The girls worked very, very hard on getting these all put together today. So this is your stamp and die combo if you get the picnic table stamp and die combo. You can also just get the stamp. We do not sell the dies individually anymore.
And they're scaled really well to be able to work together.
Oh yes, well they're sized so that this little frog can be right next to his picnic table. All right, so then the piece de resistance, which are the things that I'm also super excited about because I had a hand in designing some stuff in this release that I'm super excited about. So first and foremost, we have a die that I can tell you right now, if you don't get this die set quickly, you're not going to get this die set in the first launch because I have a feeling this die is going to go very, very, very quickly. So my mama, when I was little, and I have the packaging here to show you what it looks like, but it's "I love you, a bushel and a peck." And my mama said that to me all the time. All the time when I was little, she would sing that song to me. So I had to have an "I love you, a bushel and a peck" word die. And that's what this is. So this is the word die. So it looks like this. It's going to be backwards on your screen. It looks perfect on my screen because it's, not backwards. And then you also have the shadow die. Now, I thought ahead for all of you because I know that some of you are going to say the same thing that I said when I first saw this. The "I love you, a bushel and a peck" is great, but how am I going to line up all of those letters? What the heck am I going to do to line all of those up? Now, either you can be very, very particular like I am and you line them up all perfectly, or I thought ahead, as sometimes I do, and sometimes I'm not a great thinker ahead. But we created something that you can purchase separately if it's something that you think that you would take need of. And if it's not something that you think you would use, then you don't have to get it. But I created a little placement guide for you. So this is the placement guide. So as you can see on there, do you see the score mark that's on there? So basically what you'll do is when you cut this out, so let me actually just cut this out. Well, let me use a brighter piece of paper so you can see what I'm talking about because it'll make it a little bit easier. And of course, we'll go over all of this tomorrow. I just get so excited about this that I have to show you. But when you cut out your shadow piece, there's a score line on here that will show you where your shadow piece is. So what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to line that up, and I'll show you here. I have this big Gigunda Tim Holtz die cutting thing now that it's insanity. So all you'll do is you'll take this piece, so that's what it looks like when it's cut out, the shadow piece, and all you'll do is you'll line it up, grab yourself a piece of pixie tape, because you really shouldn't leave home without it, and you'll line this up, and the shadow, again, fits absolutely perfectly onto this backer piece. You'll apply a little bit of pixie tape, and you'll just set that down. Now, you can probably just line this up if you want to. You don't have to use the pixie tape. But what you'll do is you'll just take your pieces. So I already have a couple of pieces that are cut out here. And we'll just start with we'll start with bushel, and you'll see they fit perfectly inside of this guide. Do you see how that fits in there? And I don't know why no one else has ever done this before. I mean, I think we're the first. I don't know. I would say probably that we're the first to create a lineup guide like this. Have you ever seen it before, Shannon? I don't know.
No,
Maybe you copied somewhere.
I haven't.
Okay. So all you would do is you would just take this and you just place them right inside of here. You just glue them in. And then when you remove this, I'll show you tomorrow. You'll have to wait till the release tomorrow to see how great it looks. But you lift this off and it's all the letters are exactly where they're supposed to be. Okay?
I love that. I certainly can't do it with eyeballing it.
And the best part of
it on a chalkboard straight either. It ends up kind of in a line going.
Well, and the best part of this is this retails for $2.99. So it's very inexpensive. And another thing that you'll be able to do, which is something that I think is really cool, that I was thinking about earlier, is you'll actually be able to go in and you can just use this as a stencil if you want. So, I mean, you're not going to have all of your little, your little innards to the different pieces, but that's okay. Sometimes this is a cool look. And go in and add whatever you would like. But so this is your alignment guide. We will have this for this one, as well as we have another phenomenal die coming called "You Are My Sunshine." There will be one for that too. But it just makes it so easy. You literally just line it up. What you do is when you get your die packaging, you slip this inside of it, and everything is ready to go every time you need to use it. But
you can even use it and offset. You could use it for the background and then offset the top letters.
Oh yeah.
Piece.
I mean, the sky's the limit. And we're going to start doing this for all of our kind of word dies because I think it just makes it so simple. And the great thing is we manufacture these in-house. So since we manufacture them in-house, we can do these little masks for $2.99 and, we can make them affordable. So I think that's really, really cool. So yeah, so that's a little mask that makes it super easy to do that. And then last but certainly not least, I do not have a sample of this. I will be here early tomorrow making samples like it's going out of style. But we have this die set that arrived as well. And this die set it's on this packaging as well. It creates this picnic basket. So can you see that picnic basket in the background? This is what our new packaging looks like, by the way. You'll see this packaging soon, except this background doesn't look like that anymore because it was a little too busy. This was a prototype. But this basket in the background here is what that makes. So this will make the basket. It'll make the ketchup bottle. It'll make the little burger. So again, the sky's the limit of what you can do with these die sets.
I can't wait to play with that.
Oh, and then I have one more thing. Last but not least, our special squeaky clean for this release. And this special squeaky clean, can you all guess what it is by looking at the picture? I'm trying not to show the UPC, or because that's where it says the name. But
it is, if there's any guesses.
Yeah, we'll wait to see if there's any guesses before I reveal the name of what it is. But it's a good one. It's a really good one. Nope, it's not beach air, but we did do a beach air in the past. Sorry, I'm just grabbing a...
Jenny's got it.
Penny got it?
Jenny did.
Who did?
But I like Tina's guess too, though. That might be one we see later.
Oh, yes. Snow cone is a great one. Well, Kelly, you're going to see Peachy very soon. Not from us, but as a collaboration from one of my good dear friends. And I'm sure you can imagine who that dear good friend is. Who would we be doing a squeaky clean that's peach scented for? Someone said her name earlier.
I know. But I'm a cheater, so I can't tell.
I was going to say, you know it all. Well, almost it all. And
you throw some surprises at me, which is fun. Well,
the only thing the only thing Shannon doesn't know are the things that I come up with in my sleep. And then the next day, oh, yep, Penny, you got it. We are going to have a collaboration with May May.
And Jenny got pink lemonade for the...
yes. That is what it is. And then and just so you all know, friends, we have a lot more coming. We have a new glitter glaze coming. We have new washi sheets coming. We have multiple dies, multiple stamps. We have a lot of stuff coming. So you're really going to like this release. I think you will. That was only one of the stamps. I think we have 4 stamps launching. 4 or 5?
Yeah, 4. No, 3. 4.
We have 4 stamps. We have 2 paper pads. We have, oh my goodness, dare I say, I think we have 8 stencils launching.
Is it 8? It's at
Because we
least
have, I think it's four slimline. No,
It's 6. 3 and 3.
it's 3 and 3. No, is it only 3?
no, because we have 2 minis.
Yeah, there's 2 minis.
Yeah,
They're 4x4, and then there's how many, Darren?
3 slim lines,
3 slim lines and 3 6x6.
So yeah, so 8. We have 8
Hi, Dion.
stencils, and we have 4. Hello, my beautiful Dion. We have 4 dies. No, 5 dies. Because we have the grill set, which I didn't show you yet. You're going to have to see it tomorrow. We have the picnic basket set. We have the You Are My Sunshine. We have the bushel and a peck. And to all of you lovers of our tier tray, we have a real special treat for you. I'm not going to tell you about it. I'm not saying a word, but you'll all see it very, very soon. You're gonna be very excited. It's a big release. It's a big one. There's a lot of stuff. So, and I think you'll all be very excited to see it in its full glory. It launches tomorrow at noon Eastern Standard Time. So the Brutus and
Are you making a project at noon?
Sure. I'll probably be making a project, but I'll also be kind of showing the whole thing. The problem with this release is I'm going to have a real hard time making one project. So
Yeah.
I have to, in the morning, I have to kind of narrow down what I'm going to be doing. But most likely in the morning, what I'll be spending my time on is I'll be spending my time on kind of making some different, I guess I would say some of what I call the black sheets, the black sheet samples where you kind of see how everything is laid out. But we'll see. It's going to be really hard for me to choose what I do tomorrow, but I'm sure that I'll probably use the I Love You, a Bushel and a Peck, and I'm sure that I'll probably use some of the paper, probably a stencil. Who knows? It's going to be really hard.
I will be using it as well tomorrow. I'll be using things from the release tomorrow night. So
good.
Going live. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Good. Okay.
Oh, Tina wants to know if you're going to be restocking the pocket shell die.
We are planning on it. So I will tell you that it is being used. When I saw that question, I had to look up real quick to see if it was actually out of stock, and it is actually out of stock. Because that is something that's being featured at Create. So we had a ton of them, and then they were gone. So hopefully we'll be able to bring it back. There's always a couple of extras in the warehouse, so it may come back in stock. But it's something that we may bring back, and it's something that we may retire because it's been around now for I think 2 years. I think it's probably at its life expectancy because I think that it was. Yeah, I think
last year. It's at least a year though.
Yeah, I think it might have been 2 because I think our very first ad in the magazine was when that came out.
No, that's what made us make it.
Yeah, so I think that was 2 years. Yeah, I think it was 2 years.
It came out later, but that was created for the ad, and then we decided to make a set from it.
Oh, I thought it was already a set. That's great.
No.
So, well, then I'm not sure. It might have been, it's probably about a year and a half then, maybe. I don't know.
Still, it's been at least a year. So.
Yeah, it's been usually the life expectancy of most Brutus Monroe products that aren't considered an evergreen product that would be like a seasonal product is about 12 months is usually how long it stays around. But we are, Bushel and a Peck and a Hug Around the Neck will be available tomorrow at noon Eastern Standard Time. So make sure everyone that you have signed up for the Brutus Monroe emails. Make sure that you have signed up for text notifications. Make sure you have signed up for everything that you can sign up for to make sure that you get the notification of when those items are available because there's no telling how long they will last. I mean, we should have enough that they should last a little while, but if there's any connotation of how the retro release went, it's going to go pretty quickly. But yes, all of this will be available tomorrow at noon. And we have a new conversation clipping size that I think you're going to be really excited about. My goodness gracious, we have a lot of stuff.
There's tons of fun stuff. I think I might have to do lives on it 2 weeks in a row just to be able to.
I keep thinking about. I mean, it's so much stuff.
Yep, for sure.
Okay.
Well, do you have anything else you want to share?
I do not. I think that's it. Unless there's any other questions or anything that you want me to share.
I let them know that in the future we're going to be having more of these where you're interviewing members of the inspiration team, and next week you're interviewing me. I believe it's next week.
Yes.
I'll have to look. So
yes.
we're going to just have all kinds of fun getting to know everybody.
Absolutely. It's going to be a lot of fun.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Thanks for all of your questions. And thank you, Christopher, for all of the inspiration that you give us all the time.
It is my pleasure.
This is so much fun. Thanks for the opportunity. I had fun getting to know you more too.
I had a lot of fun as well. So thank you all so much for hanging out with us tonight. Be sure to stay tuned for tomorrow at noon Eastern Standard Time. That is when we are launching all of these incredible products. And it's going to be a kind of a full day celebration tomorrow. So I'll be probably live maybe once or twice. Shannon will be live tomorrow. You're gonna be sick of us by the end of tomorrow. But this is a really, really, really phenomenal and massive release, and we want to make sure that you're able to see every single piece of it as it's launched, because we are doing this release a little bit later than we anticipated. It was supposed to launch on the 15th, but we want you to get time to look at all of these, because if you can believe it, in only a week's time, we have another release. So just call me Taylor from Taylor Expressions. She is a dear friend of mine, but every time I turn around, I'm like, Taylor, how do you keep up? You have so many great products and you're releasing them all the time. And she I don't know how she does it, but I think they have a release like every week. And I'm like, good for you, girlfriend, because I don't know, my mind would be spinning. But she just, I think, has so many great ideas that she can't do just one release every week, and it's just incredible. But yeah, we will have another release very, very soon.
All right.
All right.
We'll see y'all tomorrow.